This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos Daf. Chav Zayin Amud Beis. We pick it up in the bottom of Chav Zayin Amud Aleph. We're in the middle of discussing the limudim of particularly Beged Tzemeru Pishtin. Excuse me. We began with it in relevance to Toma V'Taira, but as we'll see today very quickly, this is going to segue into a conversation about tzitzis. So says the Gemara on the last line of Chav Zayin Amud Aleph, Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar, Af Kol, that when the pasuk says that Tzemeru Pishtin comes to include, it's including what? La'asuye on the top line of Chav Zayin Amud Beis, La'asuye tzitzis. It's coming to include the halachais of tzitzis. The top Rashi points out, what does this mean? That we think right now that only wool and linen are the only items, only begadim, which are obligated in tzitzis. And just quickly to point out, you see that little aleph, which points to the side, which this is indeed the way the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Nun Vav paskins. And Misfardim are very, very makbid to wear woolen tzitzis, woolen begadim, woolen garment, based the mamish on this line of the Gemara. As we'll see in a moment, though, the Ramah and Ashkenazim hold that there is a place for leniency based on the ensuing Gemara. Continues the Gemara. Rav Nachman Yitzchak, you're saying you learn out tzitzis from Tzemeru Pishtin. Tzitzis behed yoksiv. Says the Gemara, tzitzis is written explicitly. Lo yisel b'shanis Tzemeru Pishtin uksif. But it says in the next pasuk, right after telling us you can't wear kalayim, what does the pasuk continue and say? Gedilim da'aselacha. That you should make gedilim, twisted threads, which from the smichos of the two we learn out that for tzitzis, it could yes be kalayim. Says the Gemara, I would have thought, Kedi Rava. Like Rava learned the Rava Rami, Rava asked the contradiction, Ksiv Hakinaf. It says in one pasuk about tzitzis Hakinaf on the corner, Min Kinaf, which implies that the strands be the same material as the garment. Uksiv Samer Pishtin Yachtaf, which implies that tzitzis of wool or linen or flax can be on any type of garment. Ha-ketzad, how could this be? Tzemeru pishtin paitrin bein b'minan, bein biloi, bein shaloi b'minan. Says the Gemara, what does this show us? That tzemeru pishtin is going to be tzitzis, whether it's its own type or not. Shar minim, other types of garments, b'minan paitrin, would only pater if it is b'minan, only pater if the tzitzis, the strands, are the same type of material as the garment. Says the Gemara, so you would have thought that when the pasuk says Tzemeru Pishtin and then Gedilim Taselacha, that Tzemeru Pishtin, that it was teaching us like Rava, Kamash Malon. Therefore, it teaches us that no. Therefore, it teaches us that Tzemeru Pishtin by Tzaras, it shows us that by Tzitzis as well, that all types of, that Tzitzis have to dafka be from Tzemeru Pishtin. Again, the kasha was, it's explicit. And we're answering, no, it's not explicit because there was a hava mina. There would have to be min kanaf, and we're not going with that hava amina. Amar Rav Achmed Rava the Ravashi asked the Gemara the Tanav Yishmael, going back to here, Tav Chavav Beis. According to Tanav Yishmael, we're 10 lines down. The first one line is Devei Mai Shinal Indian Toma. What is special about Toma? Demar Bishar Begotten. That all other garments are included. Techsev I begin. Hachanami here also by Tzitzis Lema the Rabbi Shar Begotten Meshet Chaseba says that you cover yourself. So just like Rabbi Shmuel included everything, says the Gemara, let's include everything with regard to tzitzis. Answers the Gemara, I would have thought that maybe it's coming to teach us that a blind person needs to wear tzitzis. It's Anya, with regard to tzitzis, says you have to be able to see it. Which comes to exclude nighttime garments. At Oimer, you're suggesting Brother Chsus Laila, you know the Brother Chsus Suma. Kishew Oimer, and the Pasuk says Shet Chaseba. Harik Chsus Suma, Mar. From there we learn out a blind person's stuff. Amani Mekaimer Isa Maisai. What do we do with the pasuk that says, and you should see it, Prat L'Chsus Laila, which comes to exclude a Chsus Laila, an item garment. So says the Gemara, the classical kasha. O my is the Rabbi Sumo Leitik Chsus Laila. Marvin Chsus Suma Sheyesh Tabir Iyesa Achirim. So we include Chsasuma. Why? Because at some level it's part of Marisa Maisai. Why? Because other people could see it. So what do we see? We see that when the pasuk says it comes to teach us that tzitzis of Tzemer Bishtin of a tzuma, but not to be marbe all other garments. Says Gemara, wait, how do you know? But maybe it's coming to say shar begadim, meaning at one hand we can say it includes a ksasuma, a blind person's garments. On the other hand, it can be marbe shar begadim. Says the Gemara, mistavra koivit Tzemer Bishtin marbe Tzemer Bishtin. So the Gemara is sticking to its own. The Gemara is saying that it's not going to be Marbe Shar Begadim because the pasuk says explicitly Ksos. The pasuk explicitly says, Semer Upishtin. That's the end of tzitzis. Comes like the Gemara, and of course you can see from the Havamina potentially is where we're going to be Marbe Shar Begadim. Amar Abaye. We're about 8 lines from the Mishnah on the bottom of Chav Zayin Mebeis. Says Abaye the Tudas, Shimon Elazar Sumchas Amru Davar Echad. Shimon Elazar Adam Aron, that which we saw. Sumchas D'Tanya. Sumchas Omer says Sumchas Sicha B'Tvi B'Sula. If someone covers a sukkah with Tvi, spun threads of flax, it's possible. Neshem B'Tam B'Negayim. Since it's a garment that's B'Tam B'Negayim, therefore you're not allowed to use it as Chach. Says the Gemara, Kiman, whose opinion is this Abaya going like that says even the Tvi, which again is just the threads, it's not an actual garment, is Mekabel Toma. Kaitana de Tanan, as we learn, Shasiva Arim Etam and Agayim Miyad. Divri Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda see Misha Yishla, once it's been pulled out of the kettle, which is the area that they boil up the flax in, Va'erev and the other threads Miyad, Va'oinin, and the bundle shall pishta Misha Yitzlab, Misha Yasal, Misha Yitlabnu, when they are whitened. Therefore, Abaye is going like Shimon Elazar's din is going like the opinion of Rav Yehuda, that's teaching us that even the unspun fibers, even the shasi ve'erev, even just the unprocessed items will be mekabel toma. That ends this little bit of a difficult discussion about the beged tzemer upishtin v'chulu. Let's delve straight into the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, anything that comes out of a tree, ein malikin by, cannot be used as wicks to light with it. We go back to our original discussion about malikin, ubamain malikin, the original discussion of what you're allowed to use to light for Shabbos candles and not. So says the Mishnah, anything that comes out of a tree, ein malikin ba, you cannot use to light ella pishtin. Anything comes from a tree, ein mitama tumas oyalin ella pishtin. So let's just begin the Gemara that the Gemara says minola, and from where do we know the pishtin it creates? How do you know that pishtin is considered a tree? And the depth of the question, Taisa the bottom here explains, is that pishtin is not really a tree, but it's more of a plant. So says the Gemara, Amar Mar Zotra, Amar Cross, says the pasuk, V'hiya losam aganav v'tedeni v'pishteya eats. She brought them up to the roof and she hid them in the trees of flax. So we see that the pasuk refers to pishtan as eights. Therefore, the Mishnah, when it's telling me that ein kol hayotzim in eights, you're not allowed to light with, the Mishnah feels the need to follow that up with b'flax. You can, yes, light with, and we'll pick it up from here, b'siyata dishmaya.